Testing 1 2 1 2. Hey guys, today is July the 16th of 2018, and I wanted to do a kind of analysis that I haven't. I don't know if I've even done a video on it. Maybe, yeah, I have. I've done it on the uranium sector, on the uranium spot price. This is something you should do with any instrument that anything that you're trading, if you want to understand the cycles, the timings, and everything, and where it is in regards to structure. This is the kind of things you just need to do. Gann recommended doing this kind of stuff, and it just should be in your nature if you're a researcher. Looking at the past and see what the instrument has done. So I don't know if I'm going to make this long or short. I'm just going to try my best. It's going to be more like an educational video on the Aussie. And before we do that, I just want to see the price action that we've had since Friday. And then we'll go into the big picture. Okay. Let's close this out. As you can see, the dollar is a little... The dollar got a nice pop, and then it's selling off. Kind of like choppy right now. So everything here, you can see that it's... all the other currencies are green. So they're getting stronger. Aussie's on the weaker side in the yen. But the New Zealand, the euro, the pound, the CAD. This is the strongest right here, but I don't know what this is. The Stockholm Swedish. But anyway, let's minimize this. Let's look what we have here. As you can see that this is the 45 angle that I've been talking about in all my videos on the Aussie. And look how I respected it right there. That high was 74.41. Kissed it and then just pushed back. We're in a triangle and you can see that it's getting tighter. So I've been running some models and this is what the model is saying. So I'm testing it now in real time. So far, looking at the past, the model has been, pretty accurate. So I'm going to tell you what the forecast is for this week, and we'll see how it pans out. And I might even just paper trade it just to see how it does. So the model says that there's going to be a high on the 16th, which is today. Is this the high? I don't know. But it's a strong angle right here that we've been dealing for a long time. We just got to see if that's going to hold. The model says that it's going to go down to the 18, 19, 20, around there. I'm leaning maybe more in the middle, the 19. But it could be a little earlier than the 19th, could be the 18th, or it could be a little later, the 20th, and then go back up. So this is like really quick turning forecast. So it's just saying, hey, it's going to be down tomorrow, and it's going to continue going down all the way to the... It says the 19th, but I always give it a wiggle room of 2 days, either 1 day behind and 1 day ahead. Because sometimes it is the 19th, but then the flush comes on the 20, and then it goes up. Because they do those little tricks. They do the flush, where they get out all the weak bulls and then pop it and reverse it. You've done that, or if you experienced that, I've experienced it in myself. So that's the forecast. So I'm going to be watching on the side. I mean, I wouldn't even mind paper trading it right here. And if it kisses that angle, just short it and put a stop. somewhere above this this triangle. And this angle right here, for those that don't know, I'm just getting it from the swing high and connecting it here. So that's why we're like in a triangle. And it's just getting tighter and tighter. So the forecast is that it's going to go down all the way. Let's see if I can do better on it. Whatever the 19th, if let's say the 19th, and maybe, you know, it could find support there. It could find support at the 73, 77, or it could push here all the way to 73.55. So there's those levels. I'm kind of leaning that maybe this angle will hold if it's going to be, you know, if this is going to be respected as a swing low. I think this angle is going to hold when it goes down. The question is, you just got to watch the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th and see price action, what it's going to do. If it's going to go down, it's going to be a swing low between those 3 days. I'm leaning more on the 19th, the one in the middle. The 18th and the 20th are wiggle room for it to do whatever it's going to do. And the 19th is a Thursday, and statistically Thursdays are normally green. Wednesday is sometimes green, and it's 50-50. And Fridays is statistically normally red, which is the 20th. So we'll see on that. So let's leave that there. This is the price action. Got a nice pop. Let's see what it's going to do when it gets up here. All right, so let's go to the big picture. So I was doing some research this weekend when I was traveling, and I was doing some research on the Aussie on when the currency started. What I found, it showed that the currency started in 1966, February the 14th, if my memory is good. I'm getting old. February the 14th, 1966. You know what? Let's make sure. Let's look it up. You can just type in Aussie or Australian. Wiki. And that's where... actually, I can just do AUDUSD Wiki. Australian dollar. Yeah, that's where I found it. So let's see what I was reading. Something was replaced by the dollar on February the 14th, 1966. I don't have data all the way to 1966. Gann always said you always have to go back, like try to get. And Gann would go and travel anywhere he needed to travel and write all this by hand. We just got copy and paste now. We get email. He went and just probably stood, I don't know how long, he probably stood in libraries and places where all this information was at, but he was jogging it down, getting it, and then getting it back to his office. And I know that took a lot of sacrifice, but in order for you to get an edge and get an understanding of what you're trading, that's the kind of stuff you have to do. He was in it all the way, pretty much. The data I got all the way comes down to all the way to 1972. But that's not bad, because you know what? In reality, what you want to do is you just want to get the cycles that the Aussie does. And it's not, scoring the range or anything like that. You want to look at the big pictures, which is the yearly cycles. And what the Aussie does on a yearly basis. And you know that Gann, when it came to the big picture cycles, he spoke about the 5-year, the 10-year, the 15-year, the 20-year, and it goes on like that. So I started doing a few, and then, on the video, you'll see how I'll continue working forward until the present time. So let's start. The first year, the data starts in 1971, and I believe the origin is 1966. So I got a few years missing, but we'll start with this, and you kind of see what the vibe is and the cycles that the Aussie does. So right here you have 3 years, almost 4 years and change. 3 years and change going up. Then you got 2 years and change going down, and these are. It looks like these are closes, like all the way back here. Maybe some of this data is not that great and maybe not that accurate, but you work with what you get. Here is 5-year cycle. Gann spoke about the 5-year, so you can see right here. So you start and then you save this, so you can look back on it. From right here, see this was the high that it made here, but then this was the price and time change kicked in here. Whatever you want to call it, cluster, vibration, price caught up with time. When time is up, the market will change. Whatever you want to call that thing, so many names that people give it and label it. That is where the Aussie we're changing now, and it happened. But there was a high here. So those are the two things you have to always kind of keep, on watch. Just because the high is here doesn't mean anything. It's when it turns, and that's what happens. And I'm gonna show you're gonna see some stuff. So from this low, or this origin that I have, that was 5 years and change, almost 6. So you're going to start seeing a pattern. You start seeing, not a pattern, but you just start seeing some numbers. So it was this 5 years and change here, almost 5 years. Again, talked about the 5-year cycle. If you go over here, this is more like 4 and change of years going from here to here. And I'm just looking at the big swings. I'm just trying to get those swings and see what the Aussie does. From this top all the way to this top from here, that was 6 years and change. But if you go to this, where the change occurred, where I call it price and time met, that's actually 7 years. And Gann spoke about the 7-year cycle. So this is the kind of thing you have to start, because you're trying to get the groove. You're trying to see what the Aussie's doing. What does the Aussie, and this is not including nothing crazy or esoteric or the deep stuff that Gann. This is more the simple. This is simple. This is just simple. This is just seeing just the timing. And then you could break that down into days. You could break that down into weeks. You could break this down into calendar days. You could break it down into trading days. And then you just lay this all out. And this is what Gann was doing. He was just laying it all out. He was just breaking everything down to details and see what does the Aussie do. Let's continue. So from here, 1976, all the way to here, which is that swing low, that's almost the 10-year cycle that Gann spoke about. It was early, 9.648 and change. A little more is a 10-year cycle. Close from here. Almost, from here to here where it changed, that's 7 years. Let's continue. From this top to here, which is that high, that's 8 years. But if you go to where price changed, right here, what's that? 7 years. So I'm just showing you that you need to be flexible, pick the tops, and also picks the point of change, and you can see that you'll see numbers that correlate. So I'm going to put that one where it changed right here. Let's see. I'm OCD, so I try to get it close. There you go. Well, close enough. Let's see. Yeah. Close enough. Look, and there's so much data ahead of me. Look at that. 7-year cycle. Boom. 7-year cycle from top to top. Can you tell me that's not the beauty of geometry of the market? It can't get any better than this. And Gann wrote this on paper and gave it to all of us, and to do our own homework and our own research. And this is what you got to do. Then I mean, if you don't believe Gann, then I don't know what's wrong. And I'm sure my channel is for pure Gannists and for people that are, spectators and don't really understand it. But Gann spoke about the 7-year cycle. 7-year cycles in nature. I mean, it's everywhere. Look at it right there. Look how beauty. But if you go from this high, you'll miss it. But, sometimes, this is another thing you want to see, is that sometimes from a high to here, you see the 5-year cycle that he spoke about. That's why you really can you follow his rules, but then at the same token, you have to experiment. You got to be a little flexible. So Gann said this, you try this. He said, what about if I go over here? What about if I go over here? What happens? What is changing? What's fluctuating? What else? What other patterns are showing up? And that's what you look for. You always have to be curious. So look at that. This is almost a 10-year cycle. This is almost a 5-year cycle. Is 4.662. 7-year cycles from top to top. Let's continue. Let's add. So from here, it looks like we could pick a swing low over here. So let's do that. Where's my thing at? I don't even know. It disappeared. Oh, well, there's a 2-year here going up 2 and change. But I'm trying to add more, and I don't see my thing here. Something got messed up. I don't know, my computer's acting crazy right now. I might have to restart this. It's like all over the place. Hold on, let me, I might have to start this all over again. It's just acting up. I won't be able to post this video. Let's see if I fix this over here. Might have to close some stuff here.